and welcome to Animals Labs. This is going to be an in-depth discussion on affinity tanking, and then we're going to build one of the affinity tanks that I suggest. During the course of the many guides I've given out, help people during as part of the Juice's Wild clan, I've noticed one of the biggest things that stops people from going from one clan to another or struggling with particular dungeons is learning affinity tanking. So I thought I'd explain it in a video and then just build the ideal tank. This is the affinity color pie that you can see in front of me, void in the middle. Now that's kind of special. It will stand alone and not generally get hit if you follow the other things. But magic, you can see this arrow that goes towards spirit. This means any magic boss will target spirit first. Spirit has an arrow going to force, so it will target force first, and force will target magic first. If we have this particular dragon, it's force. It means, looking at the color pie, he's going to target our tank first. Either one of our three magic users first. You can alter the way he targets additionally. I mean, he has an AoE attack, but the waves themselves. If the champion has low HP, the enemy thinks he's easier to kill and therefore they go for them first. So by increasing the HP of Seal of the Drakes, and in this case our DPS champion in Frozen Banshee for the poison on the boss, we can ensure the only champion that gets attacked in our team is our affinity tank. Now if we were going to go back and pick a different stage, so if we go and pick this magic stage, we can pick something a bit higher. In this case, this would be a magic boss and waves, which means his first target is going to be spirit. Okay, if we set his, well, in this case we're fine. We have one additional thing that we need to check, and it's to make sure that he never has more debuffs than anyone else in the team. Our void champion in this case has to always be above the HP of the tanks, just to be safe. That way he doesn't get targeted. You can kind of cheat the system. So if we were to go against, let's say we were trying to go against an all magic champion, or one of the big ones is force, where I see a load of people get stuck because they have all of these champions. You can either go for 5 void champions and try and use that way, or if you were to pick all spirit champions and force champions, then it won't ever target up backwards along the arrows, because it's like there's a chance of weak hits or less damage, so it will hit the lowest force champion in that instance. But in order to do that, we can't have any void or magic. So those of you who sometimes get stuck on Spider 19, for an example, if you were to put in, your spirit champions, your armigers, whichever you're using to hit the champion, and then put your tank can still be your Spider 20 tank, for example, that works. The other problem we have is void. So if we were to fight this magic champion and take out these, it's gonna target the void champion in this case, because the other three are same affinity. If we were to put a force champion in, it will still target the void, because it's not going to go backwards along this arrow. So by adding in a spirit champion, we know that hopefully all of the attacks should go onto this particular champion. Okay. When you build champions, you want to make sure you look at the health of them. So up here, 32,000, but in this case I've got no items on them, but you want to try and get your champions to be above that number. So when we build this champion, we need to make sure their health is less than the 31 that we've got on these, and we can level up some of these items. Sometimes it's worth putting a HP ring on the defense, one of these champions, or a big percentage of your champions at DPS should have HP % chest piece on, just to get this number up. When you go to choose a champion to be your tank, okay, go through and look in the index, and you'll see which of these champions could be potential tanks. And you're looking for something that says defense, because this champion scales entirely off defense, and you can see up here defense based on defense. That means everything we do is and they generally have a low attack and a high defense roll, and you build through them. So you can get some prime examples. One of my favorite ones is Tyrell. Big scaling on defense, everything scales on defense. Other good options, they don't necessarily have to be defense based, but you can see them. Look for support champions. Okay, look for their base defense on there. In the index, it gives you 60 level on their base defense. So Sathalia is a good example. Or you can pick something like Stag Knight. Now he actually scales off attack, so he's okay as a tank. But to do maximum damage, you want to go for attack on him. However, if you need a spirit tank. He can work off defense, and you don't just have to go to your epics. You can find some rares. Look for anything above 1,000 defense, and a rare is actually viable. A good example is Gnarlhorn, who is a HP champion. He builds off attack, but he has a provoke that increases his defense and an unkillable debuff. So he's going to start pulling people in, take the damage. And this is examples of what we want from tanks. I'll link the raid guide that we have in our Discord in the pin topics, and it has a lot of good tanks in there. And you might have some other options yourself. And remember, you're going to need one for each. And remember, you're going to need a tank for each different affinity. So when you go through, look at your champions, and this is like a mid-level, mostly free-to-play account that's been played for 270 days. So it's picked up the free legendaries. And I tend to use an easy way is looking at these symbols in the top, because generally defense champions have these defense symbols. So we're about to build Duck the Pierced, who's not been built yet. Grush is my kind of spirit tank, although potentially I could use Norog. He's not yet built if I wanted a magic tank. And my force tank, I'm starting to build up Cantra. I was fortunate enough on this ult to pull Cantra. She's a perfect tank. If I hadn't, I was contemplating building up this guy. He's got some interesting uses as a spirit tank, and she would have made a good magic tank. Unfortunately, there are not very many force tanks in the game. However, as a tip, if you want to start building towards one, probably one of the best force tanks in the game for free, by just taking and doing your 5 to say battles a day. And even if you're low down, as you can see, can get very easy matches. When it comes to building your tanks, let me just check. We've got a small amount of silver, and we have some gear on the account. But you want to look, what does your champion need? Okay, so some champions, you look through their skills. We're stealing a buff from the target, so we know she's gonna need accuracy. She's placing debuffs on the targets, we know she's gonna need accuracy. Some of them don't. They may not. It would be, I wonder if Canoness is one. If she's down here, increase attack on her allies. Okay, so she can place decreased accuracy and leech on the target, but if you weren't too worried about that, ally protection and increased defense on her friends. So you have to make a look at, do I need accuracy, or can I build resistance on my tanks or HP? When we're going to build Duck the Pierced, just because he's an affinity tank, and we've looked through his skills. Decrease accuracy debuff for 2 turns, so he needs some accuracy if he wants to land this. Attacks all enemies, 75% chance, and I've booked it. Decrease attack to 2 turns. Okay, so we know we need accuracy for this. Has a 75% chance, again booked 100 of decreased defense, which is the reason I've chosen him for my magic tank. I wanted someone who, even if I build them tanky, is still going to be useful for me, and he's applying multiple different buffs to the enemy. Places that provoke debuff on the enemy for 1 turn. Again, 75% chance. for adding 2 turns, places a reflect and an unkillable. Again, it's fortunately booked, but this means we need accuracy on him. And lastly, defense aura, that's not really relevant. So we know we on this champion we need to build accuracy, which means we don't have as much option for resistance. The average health of my team, and I'm on a low level account here, is quite low, is like 30,000. So I'm still building up this account, and this is why I thought it was a good example to show you, because it's a low level account where I just don't have the resources. You're going to see the gear is pretty terrible, but that just makes it all the more fun, and you should hopefully gain a more understanding from what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Okay, so the other thing to note on this account is I'm planning on using him in my clan boss team, because up until now my defense down has been Madame Ceres, and she's void, but she's also 50, and I want to build her as fast as I can for the arena. So which means I'm going to probably put him in lifesteal. When I build champions, I like to start with these items. Now I have a few pieces that I was trying to level up. New fitting room tool is worth always using, and we'll do a little bit of an equipped. So I have no items here. We have an accuracy banner. Okay, so we have attack on it, which isn't great, but we got 1 defense % roll. Let's try that on. Looks like we have a single ring. Now it's a HP ring, which is going to be a problem, because when you level this up, it's going to add nearly 4,000 HP. What have we got? We've got a defense amulet. Okay, so we leveled that up, and we know because Duck, when we read Duck's skills, he needs crit rate to land his defense down. I personally know this account has almost no way of hitting the crit rate without a decent pair of crit rate gloves. So let's search by crit rate gloves. What have we got? 3 HP roll on these. That's not too good. We've got defense, and again a huge HP roll. So these might look like they're going to be nice, but because it's adding nearly 3,000 HP, that means our affinity tank isn't going to be taking the damage. So we need to look for our other pieces. We've got attack and a HP percentage, resistance and HP percentage, defense. So this is potentially useful. I'd quite like to see if I had one with speed. Now this is a 6-star, which will make it a little bit easier. We've got an attack and accuracy on this one. Accuracy and crit damage. Speed. Ooh, so I'm going to try roll this one just to see if I can get this speed. I really don't want it rolling this HP % roll, because it's going to cause me issues. No, so unfortunately I can't now use this. So we had this one. We'll try rolling. That defense percentage would be nice. So we'll just roll up here. See, again, if we get the HP, we move on. Yep, this is the way that this particular set is going to be. Right, we've got an attack and accuracy and defense on this piece. Again, these both, the accuracy is really the only stat that we really need, but as you can see from the state of my account, maybe we go equipped. Might have something. Got a flat crit rate, but this is a white gear if you need to, guys. Go and get it for the low level accounts. No, so I'm gonna take these gloves because it's 60% crit rate. Oh, we should upgrade them first. So we have to take crit rate gloves to 16 because it's one of the important stats that we're looking for. Hopefully it doesn't take too much of my silver, but I'll cut back to you once it has rolled. Okay, so we got a pretty interesting roll here. Nothing special. This piece of gear on my main account would never even be looked at, but we make do with what we have. And we have quite a high crit rate now. We're at 80% crit rate, which means we get a little bit more leeway with the rest of our gear. I'd quite like a pair of speed boots, and it looks like we've got a few options here. None of them are great. Defense percentage, HP is a problem, accuracy and lifesteal. And again, we've got HP on a 6-star pair of boots. So what I might do is I might come back Primary stats, we're going to want defense percent chest piece on him. And substats, ideally speed. So I'll have no options with those. But I need lifesteal on him. Again, HP percentage. I'm not using her right now. So this has potential. Crit rate and crit damage. This could work. Flat defense HP. Crit rate. I'm going to roll this one up. Because if we can get all of our crit rate on here, we can potentially, if we're lucky, get some more speed on him from some other source. Oh, so remember we only needed 20% crit rate. This could potentially roll. It might get 14 or 15, in which case we're pretty set. It didn't. It got 50-50 roll. That's kind of normal for low level gear. We'll take that because, again, we need lifesteal for the clan boss. So we're back. We got some flat stat rolls. Get in the bin if it was the case. But we're gonna keep this one on. We're at 90% crit rate, 2.5 defense. We're really slow. But we're still getting our HP below that 30k limit that we needed. Now let's look at the top row. Again, we're gonna try to get lifesteal on this champion for clan boss. What have we got raised? We've got speed, accuracy. That's always a bonus. It's got some speed and some crit damage on it. Accuracy and crit damage, speed and accuracy. So this one's got 1 speed roll and 1 accuracy roll. So let's try upgrading this. Probably, I'm going to go to 4. If it gets resistance, I might cry. If it gets above like 2 speed rolls, this will be really useful to us. Of course, when you're recording, try it again. If this goes double resistance, probably jinx myself though, to be fair. Keyword there for those of you watching. Right, we've got a speed roll. I'm going to take it to 12. 2 speed rolls makes this piece really good. Potentially already better than the other piece that we had, because I think the speed roll on that was like a 10 or 11. Although the other piece is 16 already, which does help. And it has got crit damage on it, I believe. But this is a 6-star piece, so it will have a higher potential cap. Just for attack, which for a defense champion isn't relevant, but might be relevant for your other champions. And also the rolls that you get on 6-star gear are generally better in terms of percentage, because you can get 1 or 2 more extra points. So we got a double speed roll. We've got the low speed of 5 there on that particular roll, but let's try that on. So I'm aiming for brutal clan boss, which means I need to be above 160. We need a helmet. We've got a tasty speed, and it's got a little bit of crit rate and resistance. We've got nothing there. Ooh, crit rate but flat defense. This should probably be sold. Defense and speed and crit rate. So what was this? 2 speed rolls, low crit rate roll. Half tempted just to take this one because A, it's already rolled up, which is never a bad thing. We're hitting speed. We need some accuracy badly. Right, shields. We've got crit rate and defense. Like, this could be good with 1 roll on defense, on crit rate, but we need speed and accuracy. Got nothing there. We've got nothing there. That's a nice accuracy roll. A little bit of crit rate. It's got this HP, which we're not happy about. Got accuracy and defense. That's better. Speed and resistance. Accuracy and resistance. Defense and crit rate. Kind of don't want to steal from one of these 2 champions. I'm going to upgrade this to 4. Because we can always remove that helm that we had for the crit rate. If we can get like a double crit rate roll. Let's try it, shall we? 8. Come on, crit rate. Here we go. So by taking that on and trying that piece on, we are well over the top. What was on this piece? Oh, this had nothing on it. Okay. Well, I mean, we may just have to stick with the other. Yeah. This probably feels like it ends up going on ethos for me. Ethos here has, he's got an even better one. Okay, well, what can you do? I don't need that much crit rate. I do need the accuracy. The HP is a problem, but we're still below this. I'm going to try that piece on, which means my speed is horrendous. It's really bad. We need some 6-star speed boots. Do I even have a pair of 6-star speed boots? Right, primary stat speed. Okay, yeah, remember we have no lifesteal. We have a speed set. We want a 6-star speed set. This has got a crit rate on it, because it's an extra 45 speed. This might be our best option, which is upsetting. Now, I only have 3 million silver, playing on a small account, as I say. It isn't always worth just smashing every piece of gear up to 16. It just isn't going to be of benefit to you. A lot of the gear that you're rolling up at this kind of level of accounts is only to get you to the next stage of account. But I'm going to make sure I roll everything up to 12, because it's the cheapest place you can put stuff without expending too much money, with the exception, as I said, of the if you're going to go to 16 on pieces, you go for the chest piece, because a 60% defense 6-star chest piece, or 50%, is the biggest increase you can get for defense. Crit rate, again, 60%, 50%. It reduces a huge amount of need in the rest of your build. And if you're wearing speed boots, every single point of speed is big. We want our speed up. We want it to be able to go. I don't really have a lot of glyphs, as you can see. I've got no speed glyphs, so I'm not going to bother too much about that. My accuracy is really low. If in an ideal world, I could have got this accuracy up to like 200, but his main job at the moment is just trying to tank through this. I could have put a perception set on. Again, the gear on this account isn't in a great spot right now, but his main job, and hopefully we'll see when we test the dragon out, is he's the one I want him getting. I want him getting hit. So now we're at here, as I say. It's going to hit him first because the affinity wheel. So let's go back and try 18 just so we can check this out. See, is he hitting it? So the team goes in. I'm fortunate enough to be 270 days, so I've got some semi-decent champions on the account. It's an AoE hit, won't hit him, puts his unkillable up. So this might be a case, this one here, where because he has the unkillable up, other people are going to target him, so he may not have been the best choice. Let's slow it down and see. Wow, the speeds. Do they target him? Yeah, so because he's got low health, and he got rid of his unkillable buff, all of these champions, when they come to attack, if they're not stunned, they will target him. And you can see here he's got lower HP than these champions. So that's why I built him as an affinity tank. Yeah, I don't have defense down. Early game champion. He could have the accuracy on. He's not landing at this moment in time. Build up some perception, maybe some accuracy sets. Add them to those lifesteal in those spots. But I don't have the gear at the moment in time, so we make do. That's an example. Please leave if you have any comments or questions on affinity tanking in the comments below. And until next time, have a good day. Animals Labs is with you.